Hi, good evening. Welcome to the Cell Technologies Material End of Life Process Project Kickoff Meeting. My name is Chinemele Muzo, and I will be acting as a project manager for this project. On our agenda tonight, we'll first be going over project introductions, where we'll quickly gloss over the problems that necessitated us doing this project in the first place, and then prefer solutions to those problems, and then introduce a team that will help us to implement those solutions to the problems, go over the scope of the project really quick, introduce the timeline of the project, and then open the floor for any questions you might have. Have in mind that this is supposed to be an interactive session, so feel free to even ask me any questions along the way. At the end of all the presentations, we'll then go to the back of the room where we'll have an opportunity to have a quick lunch and a meet and greet, so that each and every single team member can get to get acquainted before our first meetings on Monday. Now, in the high-tech industry, companies have a material life cycle of about 2 to 3 years. This means that any part being used in production now may no longer be available for 2 to 3 years after launch. Materials in this stage of a life cycle are usually described or considered as end-of-life parts. And companies in a lot of times have to make considerable end-of-life purchases to keep supporting a product after parts have gone end-of-life. And they do this for two major reasons. The first reason is in order to continue producing with end-of-life parts, especially when the companies have not made any new models or there's a considerable demand for their old model products that require those end-of-life parts. They also do this to support customers with maintenance, repairs, returns, rehabilitation of tech, and etc. These purchases are considerably large in a lot of cases, and they have to make enough to even cover the company's production line for years. For example, if a company intends to produce a particular product for 7 years and it's using parts in its design that will go end of life in about 3 years, it means on the third year of those parts life cycle, the company will have to make an end-of-life purchase that will last them enough for 4 good years. Now, at Cell Technologies, we currently guarantee our customers 3 years of support for its product. And for 50% of our products, we actually guarantee our customers from 5 years and up to 7 to 9 years of warranty for our servers and for our storage units. Well, this means that 30% of our company's product line will have parts in them which will go end of life in 3 or less years. To make matters worse, 2% of all our average purchases, overall purchases in procurement, will be solely devoted to only end of life purchases in order to sustain customer support alone. Considering the fact that we currently spend about $48 billion yearly on materials, that represents about $288 million of yearly spend on end-of-life parts. To make matters even worse, 5% of those end-of-life purchases are usually obsolete, disposed or never even used, which represents, of course, about $40 million in just waste. Of course, we had to do something about it, and we came up with a solution in the form of an end-of-life purchase process. But to carry out the end-of-life purchase process, we had to do something first. We had to change our customer agreement in a way that favors our business. And we did this by making the maximum number of years we can offer customer support to 5 years. Considering the fact that 50% of all our end-of-life purchases are to support parts that offer customer service for greater than 5 years of warranty, we will be saving a whopping $144 million to just implement that alone. But in order to keep our customers loyal and to keep growing revenue, we have decided to use 60% of that savings to offer discounts to customers to either purchase a new different product in our product line or purchase an advanced version of the product they have grown to love. We estimate that the spend will come around about $86 billion, which will leave a net savings of about $58 million after all the spend on the discounts. For the process itself, we'll be limiting or providing criteria for purchases made on end-of-life products, meaning only $40,000 can be spent, maximum $40,000 can be spent for any end-of-life purchases, and sign-offs will have to be received by senior management before that is done. Before the sign-offs are even given, the customer purchasing team and the customer service team will have to come up with a business case for those purchases. This way, we are certain that any single end-of-life purchase we're making is absolutely necessary and important. On the inventory side, we will also make sure that at any given time, we only carry a maximum of 1% of inventory devoted to end of life. Meaning, once we hit that threshold of 1%, we will keep every approval on hold or any sign-offs on hold until we at least deplete some of that inventory. All this, as I mentioned before again, will help save the company about $58 million every year, as even shown in the chart. For the scope of this project, we'll be covering the entire worldwide procurement organization, meaning every single purchasing team and every single customer support team and every single product in this organization will be covered worldwide. Now, for our team, we'll have a capable team of 6 project team members, and Blake Mountlake, who is the Vice President of Procurement, will be acting as a project sponsor, who will be informing on progress and deliverables as they are made throughout this project. He, of course, will be accountable for the project and be responsible for providing any approvals we need. I, as mentioned earlier, who is the project manager, will be responsible for leading project meetings and all the deliverables for the project. We have a capable team of representatives from the stakeholder groups who are impacted or affected by the end-of-life process. We have Matobi, who is a purchasing manager, who will be providing a purchasing team perspective and helping us craft the guidelines and criteria for the AR end-of-life purchasing guidelines. We have Macy Dinos from customer support, who's a manager there, who will also be providing customer support team and help design the training for the customer support team. We have Philip Mark, who is the manager for design engineering, who are the people who actually manage these end-of-life parts, who will provide an insight on how these parts are managed. So we're crafting process flows or criteria or trainings that fit the management of these end-of-life parts. Of course, we have Gil Johnson, who is a manager for inventory management, who is here to make sure that we are thinking about inventory management in terms of the end-of-life parts in the right way. With the people we have in this team, we're ensuring we not only have an efficient process, but also a practical process that will work for every aspect of the company. As far as the timeline is concerned, we are planning to carry out this project in a total of 11 weeks. And as you can see from the Gantt chart in front of you, we are on track to complete the project by 27th of June. In the first 2 weeks, we will be formulating the new customer agreement, and by the week of the 14th, we will have gotten the agreement approved from the legal and customer support teams. We'll also formulate budget approvals and guidelines for the end-of-life process and set up all the process flows that we need to set up, and then get approvals for the purchasing approval guidelines from leadership and our sponsor. We will then formulate training for the purchasing team on the approval guidelines, so we can train the worldwide purchasing teams and the customer support teams by the week of June 11th and the week of June 25th. If all this is concluded in time, we'll be ready for the launch of the process by June 27th. Please, as I mentioned before, feel free to ask me any questions, or you can contact me at chinemelumuzo@celltechnologies.com. And if you don't have any questions, please feel free to proceed to the back of the room for our meet and greet. Thank you again for coming for this project kickoff meeting, and hope to see you at the back of the room and of course on our first meeting on Monday. Thank you.